Hello viewers, welcome back to a new video of Sunanda's tutorial. Today I will discuss about different modes of reproduction present in algae. It is the overall mind map of different modes of reproduction. Algae can reproduce sexually, asexually and vegetative means. In sexual reproduction, two parents are involved or two gametes are involved where two gametes, that is male and female gamete, fuse to form zygote. Then vegetative method. In vegetative method, the algae reproduce vegetatively where one part of the parent plant gets detached and germinate to produce a new algal cell. Then asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is uniparental where only one parent are involved, that is uniparental. So let us discuss this one by one. Algae reproduce sexually by anisogamous, isogamous and oogamous pattern. In case of isogamous, fusion occur between two gametes which are morphologically similar. In case of anisogamous, the fusion occur between two dissimilar gametes. And in case of oogamy, fusion occur between a larger non-motile female gamete with a smaller motile male gametes. Then vegetative method of reproduction, where algae reproduce vegetatively, one part of the parent plant gets detached and germinate to form a new algal cell. There are different methods by which algae reproduce vegetatively and produce new algal thallus. The first one is by fission. Fission is the most simplest method of vegetative reproduction where one cell division occurs forming two daughter cells. Then fragmentation. The filament of algae break into different fragments and each fragment grow as a new algal cell or new daughter algal cell. Then by forming adventitious branches, a naked adventitious branch formed which gives rise to a new algal cell or algal thallus. Then by tuber, rhizoids of Cara plant or its buried nodes form tuber-like outgrowth and these tubers get detached from the parent plant and germinate to produce a new Arak plant. Then by budding, in case of protosiphon, vegetative propagation mainly occur by formation of a bud like outgrowth. These buds detach from the parent plant, then germinate to produce a new protosiphon plant. So it is all about the vegetative mode of reproduction. Then asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction in algae mainly occur by spore formations, and there are different types of spores present in algae or formed in different types of or different groups of algae. So we will discuss these one by one. These spores are formed inside a specialized structure known as sporangia. The first spore is zoospore. It is the motile spore. Generally in green algae, flagella are present which is whiplash type and they are mainly of equal length, that is isocont. They may be 2 as in case of Chlamydomonas or 4 as in case of Eulothrix. In case of Idogonia, as I have already discussed, a crown of flagella present in the terminal position of the cell and that is known as stephanocont. So always remember that zoospores are motile spores. Then aplanospores. Aplanospores are non-motile spores. In some green algae, they are produced in some unusual conditions. That means some abnormal condition. Generally, it is formed in terrestrial species like Vaucaria. Then hypnospore. In some unfavorable environmental condition or stress environment, aplanospore secrete a thicker wall or form a thicker wall around their cell and it is known as hypnospore. Then in favorable condition, these hypnospores germinate to form a new algal plant. Chlamydomonas nivalis, the hypnospores are red as a hematochrome like substance is present in their walls and they form red snow. So remember this point as it is very important for you from your competitive exams point of view. Next, carpospores. Carpospores are diploid. They are produced directly in the carpogonium after fertilization of the egg or indirectly from the cells of filament following fertilization. And these are called as carpospores. Carpospores are formed in Polysiphonia, in Batrachospermum, etc. Then hormospores, these are multicellular spores and these are somewhat similar to hormogonia but are surrounded by a stratified wall. Then tetraspores. Tetraspores are haploid and generally produced in brown algae and red algae, that is Polysiphonia. Then tetraspores are haploid. Diploid nucleus of tetrasporangium undergo reduction, division or meiosis to form 4 haploid tetraspores. Then statospores. These are thick-walled spores and generally forms in diatom. Then neutral spores. In some algal groups, the protoplast of vegetative cell directly act or function as spores and these are called as neutral spores. Here some examples like Asterocystis and Ictocarpus is present. Then monospores. Monospores are produced inside monosporangia and generally produced in the member of Rhodophyceae, that is red algae, and Phaeophyceae, that is brown algae, and they are haploid. Then algae can also reproduce asexually by forming some peculiar structure or peculiar cells like akinets. These are resting cells and it is mainly act as a mode of perennisation rather than multiplication. Here the formation of akinete occur where the protoplast detach from the parent plant, their wall becomes thickened and highly resistant. It contains abundant reserve food material and formed next to heterocyst. Heterocyst is a specialized structure present in blue-green algae and helps in the nitrogen fixation. Remember this point. Next, by forming cyst, many flagellate algae and some filamentous algal forms produce cyst in unfavorable condition and these cysts generally act as a resting stage of algae. Then in favorable condition it will again germinate and produce a new algal plant. Cysts are commonly formed in Euglena algae. Then nanocytes. In the member of Chlorococcales, the content of the cell repeatedly divide to produce very small endospore like structures. Nanocytes are generally formed in Macrocystis, Glyocapsa and other genera of algae. Then planococci. Planococci are formed in case of Cyanophyceae, members of Cyanophyceae, where single-celled hormogons are formed which show creeping movement and these are known as planococci. Then pseudohormocysts. These are cluster of cells which are formed terminally on a erect branch of Vestiolopsis, which is a blue-green algae. These are formed after repeated transfers or longitudinal divisions of terminal cells and each fragment will give rise to a new algal plant. So these are all about the different modes of reproduction present in different classes of algae. In my next class, I will discuss about different types of life cycles observed in different classes of algae and then economic importance of algae. Then in next week, I will teach you about different topics of fungus. So stay tuned and enjoy my video. Thank you.